Everybody please turn your phone off. We're going to get started. It is 11:01. Sandy, this is called,
Sandy just smoking.
can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Ms. Steinkamp,
Yeah.
Mr. Sims, Mrs. Speed,
I mean, we start.
Mr. McMillan,
Here.
Mr. Brisker, Mr. Henderson.
Here.
You also have Anna Dow, Larry Langston, and Sandy Evans. You have four.
Public comment. Robert, do you want to comment on today's agenda?
Yes, I'll comment on today's agenda, Tessa. I don't have a whole lot to comment on. I assume this is an accepted position. I don't have a whole lot to comment on. I will point out that relative to the minutes, the agenda for last meeting had a line item that said change in application, I believe was the caption for it. It might suggest a change in application, and I would submit that that's an inadequate disclosure to allow any member of the public to make an intelligent comment. All that had to be said was entailing a deferred adjudication. The public could have looked that up in advance and been able to make an intelligent comment. So I would politely suggest, as I've done in the past, that the agenda be more specific so that the public could make meaningful contributions to the meetings. And I think that was one of the concerns expressed when the new meeting rules were adopted that said that you could only comment at the beginning. So if that situation, I don't know what may end up being discussed today, but if there's not a lack of specificity, I am going to request to speak on it. And I think
You request what?
if there is a lack, if I find out that something gets discussed here that there's not sufficient specificity on the agenda, such as, I'm using the example from the previous meeting,
Yeah, I just didn't hear the one word you said.
I'm going to request to speak on it.
To speak.
Yes.
Okay. I'm mumbled.
Oh, that's no problem. I did note, and I assume that was an accurate deal, that the stated reasons regarding item number 3 on today's agenda, that the stated reasons for going in, the possibility of going into executive session entail Louisiana Revised Section 4217A4 and 17A10, neither of which involve pending litigation. So I would assume that the discussions will be limited in executive session to those provisions, which I believe ones that investigate the matters involving allegations of misconduct. With regard to the financials, they were dated November 1st, so I assume that that would pretty well cover 3 months of the fiscal year, July, August, and September. I did note that the legal fees through that point, which obviously would not have included October's, were running at a rate of about $4,300 a month, approximately. If my premise is correct, and I would feel certain that it is, I don't see how any of the attorneys would have been able to submit an invoice for October and certainly not be paid on November 1st. And I assume, since we obviously have a third law firm that's now been hired, I would assume that at some point that would be put as a line item on the agenda for the board to formally approve. Reverend Phillips asked me to ask something, but I swear I just cannot remember it. If he doesn't show up, I guess we'll have to go on a draft. If he doesn't show up in time for the public comment, I guess we'll have to go on a draft. Well, with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Perfect timing, because I can't remember what you wanted me to ask.
Okay, thank you.
Ready for a comment on today's agenda?
Here's an agenda if you need it.
Yes?
Okay, give us a minute to start. Okay. Go ahead.
Ready?
I'm running.
Good morning. First thing I want to comment on is a couple things, and I haven't gotten sufficient answer from the board yet concerning things that I've asked on numerous occasions. It's on the agenda.
It is?
It's just, it's old business. It's old business. I haven't
Freddie, are
gotten.
you talking about, I see it under old business. Are you talking about your website again?
Yes.
Okay, I know, you asked to address the board at the last meeting, and you did.
That's right.
That's it.
That's approved of this minister.
Okay, I know. You
It's
asked the
old
board,
business.
okay, let me finish. You asked the board has, you had it on the agenda. You made a motion, your motion failed.
It's an old business. I asked for a reason. No statutes or anything is not in sight. That's what I asked for. I asked for a reason. And that's what I expect. Because you're going to tell me you can't
The
do
motion
something.
failed. When people vote, they don't have to tell you why they vote, the way they vote.
But you have to tell me what law that you're citing to
You
say
didn't
what.
cite a law.
Well, statutes. You have to cite something.
We didn't,
I asked for
no,
a
we
reason.
don't have to cite anything.
So you
right?
don't have to-
We had a motion, your motion
So
failed.
you tell me the
That's
board
it.
does not have to cite any information concerning why or what
I'm
statutes?
gonna let the attorney answer that question.
So he needs to.
Reverend Phillips, you received a letter from my office which said that the placement of links on the website was purely a discretionary act on the part of the board. There's no state statute that requires them to consider your link. There's no state statute that prohibits them from placing other links as they so, as
So
they
is that discretion?
Let-
Mr. Phillips, if you want me to answer your question, you need to allow me to answer it. So that we gave you that letter probably 4 months ago in response to that, and the board has decided in its discretion not to place your link on the website.
And I asked for citing statutes. You got others on there.
I just told you there are no statutes that require it, there are no statutes that prohibit it.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the board has its own discretion to choose to do whatever they want if they decide to.
In reference to the placement of that link, that's okay.
All right, so.
And that's the answer. It may not be an answer that you like.
It's not whether it's a preference of liking, it's whether or not you cite something that is valid.
There is
I
no,
mean, that's what I'm saying, that's what you need to do.
that's the response.
Okay, the other question is, I
have
yes.
May I have a
Yes.
question to you to our attorney? I know as an elected official, as a police jury, when we make a vote and somebody can come afterwards and say, why did you vote that way? We don't have to respond to that to justify how we voted on any issue. Does that rule apply also to this board?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what
I wasn't asking for a reason, I asked for a
I
cite.
want to know
Right,
that question.
it's not a
That's on my
statute.
behalf, not yours.
Okay, I asked for a
There's no
cite.
statute.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's move
And I asked that y'all
on.
get,
Okay.
okay,
Ask.
and I asked the board to get attorney general's opinion. You got that one as well.
You did, you asked me to get one.
Yes, I asked for attorney general's opinion.
I don't recall that.
No, there's no request for Attorney
No.
General's opinion, and the only.
If there was, I don't recall it, because
All right.
I'm sure Robert will go check his video.
It's on there.
I asked for attorney general's opinion.
Well,
Well, you
that's
asked.
another discretion on the part of the board. The board has to affirmatively vote to request an Attorney General's opinion. The board has to affirmatively vote to ask for it. There's no obligation for them to do that.
Well, if it's a violation of doing something wrong, you wouldn't want to know.
If you believe it's a violation, then there's judicial remedies that you can see.
Okay, we'll take care of that. The next thing I want to talk about is, I noticed that, we're not current on keeping up with the board's website.
Is that on the
Yeah, it's a part of housekeeping. It's agenda item.
It's not on the agenda.
What you mean? It's not on the agenda.
You can comment, Reverend Phillips, on any item that's on the agenda.
It's on the old business.
There's a list here of old business.
Correct.
Reverend Phillips.
And here's.
I don't see anything about the website.
That's not the website. I'm talking about the board's website. Updating the board's website.
There's nothing under old business or under new business concerning the website.
It falls upon the Sanders report.
There's nothing on the agenda.
went
concerning
over
old business
what's
or
on.
new business. You just walked in, I don't know if you've seen it before, but if you can point to an agenda item that you would like to speak in reference to, please do.
Discussion of board meetings. That's under
Discussion of what?
board meetings.
What were you looking?
You talking about the dates?
Dates and approval of the financials.
Under new business, set
Correct.
board meeting date. So you saying that's not on the website?
No, well, it's not, it's the website updated itself. I'm saying something on boards and commissions that I don't see on our website. So I'm asking why is it not being updated?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
That, if he can ask his question, he'll get to it.
That's what I'm saying, I'm trying to ask a question because I see on the boards and commissions website.
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind at all.
It's not on it, but on our board's website it is. So I'm trying to see what the discrepancy is. You didn't hear me? I asked the
Reverend
question.
Phillips, please point to the item on the agenda.
I am. I just did. And Chairman just gave me permission. We just gave me permission to speak.
I asked you if you were talking about the dates not on the website, because those will be approved or those will come up, so they're not on the website as of yet. I
Okay.
thought that's perhaps because you said under new business. I
Correct.
thought that's what you were talking about.
I'm talking about the updating of the website to the standards of boards and commission website. Because when there are changes there, we're not seeing it on the board's website. And that falls upon what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I asked the question, why is
I'll
this,
look into it, because I don't know what you're talking about.
why
But I'll
is
look
Mr.
into it.
Boardlawn's name not on boards and commission websites and still on the LALB's website? That's all I asked.
Oh, I didn't know that. Now I
Yes,
understand.
ma'am, that's what I'm saying. That's
Okay.
what you were talking around it when I was talking to you.
Okay, I don't know.
That's 7 minutes.
It's been sent to the webmaster. We don't have instant access like boards and commissions do.
Okay, that's sufficient. That's, I asked a simple question. I got an answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Approval of minutes. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Old business, approval of tested auctioneer applicants. Let's take these one at a time because some want to wait until January and some want now. So let's start with number one.
Yes, our first applicant is Brad Waring. He's from Ventress, and he's requesting his application be approved effective January 1st. Everything's in order, and he took his test yesterday. Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number two, Bettine Carroll.
Yes, the team, yes, she completed her apprenticeship under Michelle LeBlanc at Neil Auction. She took her test yesterday, passed, and everything's in order, and she wants her license now.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Number three.
Tad Gaspard took his exam yesterday, passed, everything's in order, and he wants his license now.
Motion second. Questions, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Number four.
Donald goes by Lane Kaufman Jr., he's from Reeves, he's requesting his license January 1st, and he's pending a bond, has been ordered.
Move to accept with the receipt of bond on January 1st, 2002.
Second.
The first and the second, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Number two, approval of reciprocal applicants.
We have Murray McAllister from Tennessee, a temporary license was requested and issued to him on September 25th. Everything's in order, obviously.
Have a motion? Have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number two.
Enoch Thomas goes by Glenn. from Texas. Everything's in order, and he wants his license now.
So moved.
First, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Number 3, approval of reinstated business applicants.
We have Cincinnati Industrial Auctioneers. They were previously licensed from 2004 to 2009. Everything has been submitted, their bond, everything is in order, and they're running their license now for an auction later this month.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Any questions, discussion?
I have a question. When somebody lays out for a period of time for them to come back in, is there any kind of reinstatement fee?
Yes, so they pay a $100 reinstatement fee in addition to their application fee.
Thank you.
And that's been paid.
Yes, it's been paid.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 2, the auction barn.
I would ask the board if they would defer discussion of that one until later on in the meeting. You need a motion to do that.
Okay, do I have
A
a motion?
motion to defer to later in the meeting. Is there a reason?
Yes.
Would be after the executive session or something?
First and second. All in favor, do you want to poll? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. Number 4, approval of auction business, Bayou Auction Services.
Yes, Bayou Auction Services, owned by Tad Gaspard that you guys just approved at the top. I know that he has registered with the Secretary of State's office, but I'm still pending the articles of incorporation of his business. He knows that, but everything else is in order.
Move to defer from necessary paperwork.
Do we defer, or can we just approve it upon receipt?
Defer.
I have a motion.
You said plenty of time, paperwork, you got time to get it done, and you got time.
Can I, on his defense?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so I have a motion from Jim. Do I have a second? Okay, I have a motion and no second.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve upon, once we get all the paperwork.
Do I have a second?
I guess I'll say.
Jeff second. Okay, now let's
Now
have a discussion.
discussion.
Okay. So,
Yeah, and I
does he
just
want it
want to say-
now or the first of the year?
He wants it now, and he was not aware that he needed a separate business license because he's a licensed auctioneer.
Mhm.
But when I was talking with him and realized that it was a partnership, that's when he found out he needed a business license. So he was late in the game realizing he needed a separate license.
And when is his auction scheduled?
Oh, he does not have one
Oh,
scheduled as
okay,
of
he just
yet.
wants it now. So
But
he
he
knows he can't have an auction until
Absolutely.
he gets his articles of incorporation.
And I believe the articles of incorporation have to be submitted to the Secretary of State's office to register.
If he has an LLC, you should already have done
Yes.
that.
Right.
It's just, he was here and the articles were in Lockport yesterday and he couldn't get those to me, so.
If he's on the website, he
Oh, so
already has
yeah,
filed.
he already
Yes.
has it if he has an
Yes,
auction.
he's
He just-
already,
yeah.
You just need it, okay.
yes.
I understand. So we have a first and a second. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of apprentice applicant.
Yes, we have Lane Bennett who wants to be supervised by Chrysanthia Bennett and he needs a bond.
Yeah, I know, that's
The vote, what,
We voted not to do any more pending legislation for the legislature. Because the legislative session will end before these.
I make a motion we discuss this item.
okay. I have a second.
So,
All right, let's discuss it.
Under discussion. Go ahead.
we made a motion last month not to do any more apprenticeships, my understanding. Pending the submission to the legislature to do away with the program, because anything after that would come after the legislative session and after the law would be voted by the legislature to change.
There was a motion at the last meeting to work with legislators to eliminate the apprentice program and only accept approved schools. The discussion was that if that law passed, the board would then at that point have to determine what to do. But honestly, I did not get out of it that there would be no apprentice program from now on. So if that's what you guys want to do, then all of the applications and everything need to come off the website, it seems.
Yeah, and I don't know that we legally can do that since the statute still says it's a way of getting a license. Or at least getting to the testing portion.
Oh, well, and I would agree that I don't think we could legally shut it down until we have something else in place. That's what I understood from our discussion last month. We're not happy with this, but until we can get something legislatively done, we still kind of have to accept this. Now, my other question would be, the supervisor, how much seniority does she have?
She's been licensed since 2009, and she owns an auction business here in Baton Rouge.
Thank you. And I would make a motion to approve.
First and second. Okay, before we vote, I just want to be clear on this. We're going to keep the program because we have to legally until it gets
It's in our
statute. And then if it gets changed, then we take down all of it. I understand. We're all clear? All in favor, say aye.
Did you vote?
I say aye.
That's four votes. You need four votes.
You have 4 votes. Ayes have it. Auctions.
Yes, I was recently contacted by Missouri Auction School, who would like to again be an auctioneer school provider for Louisiana. They do understand that Louisiana only accepts live classroom instruction, and they submitted a syllabus, I guess you want to say, and I sent that to Anna. Both of us have looked over it. It's here if any of you want to take a look at it.
Move to approve.
The second.
Second.
Any questions? They were approved.
They were many years ago. My understanding is that when they started introducing the online.
Yeah, you have
program,
classic and you have online. When they started doing the online, they started getting away from all the state officials, but many states do not do online instruction.
Then in discussion, should we make an amendment to our motion? No online,
That's pretty much been the standard for a long time now. We discussed that at the board in 2000, whenever this came up, 2008 or 2000.
Yeah, and if I can just, on the application that they submit, when we ask them to indicate their delivery method, it says the Louisiana Auctioneers Board currently only approves live classroom instruction.
And that was decided at, when Missouri, this first came up with Missouri and other schools who had gone to online.
and then the criteria is 90 hours? What's the hour criteria?
They have 90 hours.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 7, Louisiana Used Motor Vehicle Commission auction license update.
Okay, in your packet, you know, asked me last time what was going on, and we discussed for the last few meetings about the situation with used motor vehicles. So,
This was after our conference call, that they,
Right.
this was their response to that.
right, and I wanted you to be aware of a couple of things. We talked to the council, general counsel for their board. Tess has spoke with Mr. Parnell, who is the executive director of the board, and as well as the chairman, who actually is, as we discussed last time, involved in, he runs a wholesale car and is one of our licensees of his companies. You'll see in here that there is a discussion, this is a memorandum regarding what I would suggest. And I thought we had in here also the original, a letter sort of documenting, that's in here also.
Yes, it's in there also.
For some reason, I thought I was looking at it, and now, here it is.
It's a
This
letter
is
of state, yeah.
Yeah, from 2001 addressed to Buster Gay. which regarded a meeting between members of the commission and Larry Nobles, Fred Walker, and George Horton. And this original agreement, which we've been operating under, says an auctioneer will be exempt from obtaining a license from the Used Motor Vehicle Commission for farm sales, liquidation sales, bankruptcy sales, estate sales, and government and municipality sales. And let me say this, when I asked Used Motor Vehicles about this, they did not have a copy of this in their records that they could find, even though it was generated from their office. So I have provided a copy of this, which we have used. That covers a lot, but since this happened in 2001, a number of things have changed, primarily as we discussed, and Ms. Bonnet had brought to the attention of the board, her situation where she was required to have both a dealer's license as well as an auction license and a salesman's license. They are 2-year licenses, and they are a total of $400 each for 2 years. So she was asking why she didn't have an auction license. And after discussion with the general counsel, there was added to their statute an auction provision in 2009. However, is my understanding that that was added to their statute purely so that used motor vehicle dealers could sell online. Because you have to have a location for a dealer's license. The problem was that it did not allow them to sell online. So they all wanted to have that ability, so used motor vehicles went to the legislature, got this provision added so that used motor vehicle dealers could sell online. Now, that is not how it's being interpreted, as I understand it, but there is some confusion as far as the commission is concerned about this. So, after this conversation we had, the question was, can we do a new interagency agreement between the two agencies and discuss when an auction license is going to be required, and also look into the issue of when our enforcement overlaps and whether or not we are, because many of the auctioneers that we license also are licensed with used motor vehicle dealers. So you have double regulatory function, which can lead to confusion as to who's on first. So I wrote this, I know it's sort of detailed, and Tessa asked me to put it in layman's language, and I'll try to do that as best I can with that understanding. The rule has been, and in their statute it says, that they consider that you're engaged in the business of selling used motor vehicles if you sell 5 or more used motor vehicles in a 12-month period. That's in the definition. And so that is basically, if someone asks us if you need a used motor vehicle dealer's license and they ask us where the standard is, that's what we've been saying because that's what the commission has been saying. The problem is it's really not reflected in the agreement we did in 2001, and it's not technically reflected in their statute, which says that if an auctioneer has basically the principal part of the business is selling used motor vehicles, then they are required to have a dealer's license. So, what is the meaning of principal part of the business? I don't have a good answer from the commission. I basically presented to you that what they're saying is they're going to interpret that 5 years or more in one calendar year, or excuse me, one 12-month period. It's not a calendar year, it's one 12-month period. Now, the exemption based on the statute is estate sales, as well as bankruptcy sales, charitable sales, etc. The interagency agreement includes farm sales, liquidation sales, bankruptcy, estate, and government and municipality sales. So we have that confusion as to when the exemptions apply and when they don't apply. The statute says one thing, the interagency agreement says basically the same thing, but so we need to resolve that.
I got a question.
Okay?
What about construction equipment
This would, if it's titled, and Jeff, that's what y'all do, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and y'all haven't used motor vehicle dealers.
They shouldn't have had it. Period. Period. Because they're selling construction equipment in those sales, which they have no jurisdiction over. whoever let this through, and he told me that's needs to be tore and redone. And if we had to go to legislature, if the legislation passed, to cover auctioneers in the state, then that's what we need to do. I don't think any auctioneer should have to have 2 damn licenses to sell. Period.
We also, sell lots of vehicles, but I don't know how we would operate without a dealer's license.
Yeah.
But some auctioneers don't do that.
We transfer times out construction, so and we don't even have no motor vehicle. I know right.
Yeah, and that's a discussion we had, that's discussing here also, that the argument is that Office of Motor Vehicles requires you to have a dealer's license.
That's not true.
Well, let me finish. Office of Motor Vehicles requires you to have a dealer's license if you want a dealer's tag, or if you want to basically be able to transfer open titles. I explained to her that that's not how auctioneers often work. Quite often it is seller to buyer, and there is no need to have anything in between. And that's part of what we're looking at also, as far as that's concerned, is in our interagency agreement. I don't know if there is going to have to be a decision made between this board and the motor vehicle about their auction license, because it is being required. If you go inside auction cars, they require you to have that in addition to a dealer's license. And that's why they're doing it, so you can sell online and get around this location. That is a whole different issue with regard to auctions, because one of the reasons that I recall we did these exemptions was the fact that farm sales, liquidation sales, and estate sales don't occur on anybody's lot. They usually are located wherever the estate is, or the farm is, or where the business is that's being liquidated. So that's an issue that's going to have to be resolved, also between the two boards.
Well,
What, I'm sorry?
Well, we had to buy a dealer license, location license for the auction we had Saturday. We sold 50 vehicles, or 50 so vehicles, about 100 total motorcycles. And we had to buy a dealer's license for that location, which, of course, that's a used motor vehicle issue. But if I didn't have that dealer's license, the used motor vehicle license, as an auctioneer, I could have had the auction with no license.
Did you get a whole new location, or did you get a special sale?
Well, they issue
Right.
a license for that location.
Right. You
It's
know,
like a satellite.
right. And they've been doing that, and I know that's what's been going on for a while. But again, if someone says they want the dealer's license because they want dealer's tags, or they want to be able to transfer open, that's an Office of Motor Vehicles issue that we would have to go to them and talk to them about also.
you don't have to see your tags when you do it.
We have some dealer tags. We don't use them all. We have some dealer tags.
And some companies actually want dealer tags, and that is a requirement for motor vehicles, and I did check, it is part of the Office of Motor Vehicle requirements. So,
So what do you want to do, Jim? You want to,
I want the whole thing thrown out. I want the auction business to stand on its own. I want the, if they're gonna have car auctioneers, I want the auctioneers to be issued an auctioneer's license, an auctioneer's business license for this board, period, paragraph, and it stops
Well,
right
they're
there.
supposed to.
If they wanna charge them a salesman's fee, that's it. I ain't gonna get it done. But when it comes to the auction business, auctioneers do not need 2 or 3 sets of license to do business. Period. And let me tell you something,
I agree.
it's
That's why we-
notorious.
Yeah, that's fine.
Louisiana is notorious for this motor vehicle crap, and it was all stirred up by a used car dealer in Shreveport and one in Monroe. And it was done back in the late 90s and early 2000s in this state. As far as I'm concerned, let's throw that roll of dice in your legislature and get it clarified. I'm not gonna be one vote for an agency agreement for used motor vehicles when they have no more power than we have.
that's normally, that actually is what we've been operating on since
Well, if
2000.
they want to include, contractors, I don't care if he's got 50 vehicles in that sale, and it's a liquidation sale, and I got that sale, I want the right to sell it. I want the right to sell it to you. And it's not covered in here.
What?
You got farm sales, you mentioned nothing about construction.
Construction, we're talking about titled vehicles or untitled.
Both of them.
Titled vehicles are required to go through Office of Motor Vehicles, so we have that
That's
issue.
fine.
If they're not titled, then they're not included in this, and they can be sold.
You're not listening to me, Ann. I want the right to sell the entire construction liquidation inventory, whether it includes vehicles or equipment. I don't want to have to go to motor vehicle and buy a damn license.
Okay, the liquidation sales right now of any kind are in our interagency agreement, so I don't know.
You got it listed out in 5 categories, and none of them comply with construction equipment, period.
Yeah, well, this liquidation, yes, they do.
Liquidation too. But
Yeah.
what they're saying, you can take in consignments when you don't get a license.
Right.
I don't do that.
And that's why, and we did talk, yeah, and that's what we're talking about, is redoing this. As far as
They
It's
shouldn't have to
gonna
have
be
two
redone,
auction
it's gonna be
licenses.
redone in our favor this time, not theirs.
Okay, so how do we proceed?
It's up to the board if you want to do an interagency agreement.
I mean, we can do it in an agency agreement, we want it in our favor. We want this other license knocked out.
Can I complete my thought?
Sure.
She asked me a question I'd like to answer. This is what we can do. You have an option to do a new interagency agreement and present it to these motor vehicles. You have an option not to do it and go to the legislature and see if we can resolve some of these issues. Some of these are in their statute. Right now, as far as I know, Used Motor Vehicles has not issued any regulations or interpretation of any of this. So that we still have time to go in and ask them to consider this as part of their regulatory enforcement. Also, by the way, included in this is our, basically, the understanding, they have a specific statute on dealers' auctions. That statute itself would have to go away. They retain jurisdiction. And I'm talking about two different kinds, dealers' auctions where dealers sell to dealers, and public auctions where auctions are used to sell cars to the public. There's a different standard for each. Dealers' auctions are part of their regulatory jurisdiction, to say they take care of them. We only get involved in a question of licensing or calling an auction. There are certain things in that statute that purely has to do with them. The question of enforcement then becomes an issue of, and we have a public sale, and we've had a number of complaints filed. When do we get involved and when do they get involved? And I understand that if we eliminate the double jurisdiction, in other words, the double regulatory system that we have right now, that takes care of the problem. However, if we don't, and we're still having dealers' auctions and public auctions regulated by Used Motor Vehicles and all auctions regulated by us, we still need to set some guidelines as far as what we regulate and what they regulate.
We ask, the real auction, we tell. I think we tell them what we want, we don't ask them what we want.
That's what we're
You know,
putting together
I
right now, is what we're doing.
I think we're the lead horse in this, and that we should take that lead and let them know that, hey, you're an auction, it falls on the auctioneer board. And, you know, we tell them what we want, we don't ask them what we want.
Well, okay. It's
And that
bad
includes,
use
that
of terms.
includes dealer auctions as well, and
We have to eliminate the entire statute to get
that's
them
what
out.
they need to do, they need to get it out of their law.
I would agree, we're the auctioneer board, we should be the lead horse. We tell them what.
Y'all should have said here in 2009, let them get this in the law.
No, we went to the
I
legislature.
blame the other board for this. It should have been done.
We had auctioneers who testified about it. Basically, the law was passed, as you see it today, over their objections.
Well, I don't see where you can try this interagency agreement if you want to.
No,
I don't see
it's not
where-
my idea, I'm
I'm
presenting it
just
to you.
saying, if y'all want to try it, I'll go along
I
with it.
think you should,
But when the legislature comes, I want to know what the last day of filing is, and we fix to find some senator or some representative to file a law saying you don't have to act, we're going to get something done in January.
And I think from a protocol standpoint, we should try that first.
yes.
But we should have it written in terms and conditions that
That
reflect
doesn't work.
And that's
very
what-
strongly that we're the auctioneer board, and this is what we want. And then if we don't get this, then we'll move forward with legislative action.
Okay.
Exactly,
And
that's
if
why.
If we don't get it done away with, then we give the whole car deal to you. And don't send no complaints from the public to this board as long as I'm on.
It's a good idea.
Situation is that I put suggestions in this memorandum for you to look through and make a determination of how you want to put together the suggestions. Both, this would work both for an interagency agreement and as proposed legislation. So I want you to look at it, make a decision, on an individual basis first, if you want to look at it first. Or what we can do is, I can put together something for January. We have to file for next year's legislature, I believe, by March. So you're sort of getting your ideas of what needs to be done.
So can we have like a little committee work with you on that?
Okay, there's my backs
Yes.
off,
Come on, sit down. Yeah, Jim and Hal and Jeff.
These guys know it better.
Okay, well then let Jim and Jeff do it. I thought you
No,
had an interest.
I just feel very strongly that we should get it, meeting
Okay,
this.
so
They
why don't-
actually know
yeah,
it better.
So why don't you work with Jeff and Jim?
Well,
Roll them over.
Jeff's closer down than I am. So, I mean, if they need to get together, he's done that pretty much. I mean,
Well,
he's-
You can,
Phone, email.
What I can put together is
Phone
a
and email,
suggested
not-
version. I mean, if you want to look at an agreement with, must take the lead as well as what statute would have to be changed, I can get that.
Send it to me, I'll be all finished, and we'll send it to them. Hopefully we'll have an answer before the next board.
But as the committee comes up with a finding, they can run it by us is to.
Oh, no, we can't do anything without your approval. This is
Right,
just to
but I mean, for
develop.
approval, we can still read it.
Yeah, so we'll-
And the recommendation of the
We'll have it
committee.
at the next board meeting.
Right.
For your information, the reason I made the statement, well, I know about they swore to me that, and they told us not to be an auctioneer, at an auction. I was working at cars in Little Rock, Arkansas at the time, when it was told. They told me they were putting auctioneers in Louisiana out of business in car business. Period, paragraph.
Well, the only thing I want you to
But I
understand is that,
understand those two board members are gone.
well, in my indication, probably chairman of the commission right now, who is an auctioneer?
I know.
Yeah, basically wants to work with us
He's-
if at all possible.
That
I got
was
very
on-
good vibe.
And
He kept
knows-
saying that.
And he knows what it is for us being drivers.
Yeah,
Like ours.
And that is protocol. First, I would think,
Right.
before your legislature said, go to them, see if we can work this out. Y'all come up with an agreement, present it to them. If they dig their heels in, then we can legislative action.
I'm prepared for Jeff.
Now, we need that to form a
Motion,
motion.
you made it to me.
We need that to form a motion.
Correct.
Thank you.
There's nothing to approve of this program.
We'll go forward. Okay, new business, number one, approval of financials.
they're in your packet. You have some questions, let me know.
Let's do a motion. Have a motion, I have a second. All right, any questions? We're good on this?
Yeah.
To report? All in favor to approve the financials, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, set board meeting dates. I think there's, I'm gonna go over these, Sandy, we have to change up one or two.
Yes, I did contact the LMA and these dates are available, but I do just want to say that the LMA, because it's their building, they do have the right to later say, no, we want the room, so you're gone, so just so you know. But, we kept it with the Tuesday, so Tuesday, January 7th, Tuesday, March 11th, because the first Monday is Mardi Gras, the first Tuesday is Mardi Gras. Tuesday, May 6th, Tuesday, July 8th, Tuesday, September 9th, we moved it back for Labor Day. And then Wednesday, November 5th, we did a Wednesday because the first Tuesday is Election Day, which in Baton Rouge is a holiday on even number of years for state employees. And then the following Tuesday is Veterans Day. So I consulted with Tessa and she recommended the Wednesday. So these are the dates.
Couple of questions. The motion, second, discuss this.
For me.
Motion to discuss the dates.
On the May, you know, you got Memorial Day weekend here, does coincide with that.
Memorial Day weekend is until the end
It's
of
the
the month.
last.
Okay, it's the last, all right, May, July, are we getting 4th of July close?
Well, it's the week after, the
Okay.
Tuesday after. We pushed it for Labor Day. We looked at those holidays.
Okay, that's all right.
Not to worry.
I move to accept the dates as
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, let's go on to number 3, the attorney report this week.
Yes, I would request that he was executive session because he's likely to investigate.
Here, I'll get it.
Go ahead.
A second.
If you're wanting to go into executive session, we have the next 2 items on our agenda. So it would be attorney investigative report pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217A4 and/or LARS 4217A10. We've also got 4 lawsuits which will be listed out with docket numbers, and those will be pursuant to LARS 4217A2.
First, have a second?
Second.
And we want a roll call.
Roll call.
We've got Mr. Mr. Brisker,
Yes.
Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. McMillan.
Yes.
Mr. Sims. Ms. Steinkamp.
Yes.
It's unanimous for an executive session. Roll call.
Yes.
Mr. Brisker.
Yes.
Mr. Henderson.
Couldn't hear.
Mr. McMillan.
Yes.
Mr. Sims.
Yes.
Ms. Steinkamp. Okay, we're back in session.
Yes.
He said yes. All right, let's go to number 3, approval of reinstated business applicants to audit warrant.
Number 3, I move to make the motion to defer to the next meeting.
Do you have a second? Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have
We should adjourn.
it. Second.
You're president, you can't say that.
No, I looked at him for a second. I wasn't second. I was like, who has a second? All in favor?
Aye.
It's a record.
Tuesday, January 7th next, right?